All right, so today's goal actually is to try to get this siding up. Siding has been pre-painted, 4x8 sheets. It's like a hardy backer. I'm gonna go ahead and get it up. That's where we're going. We're going up on that triangle there. I call them the dog house. Got that strip there. That's gonna be the base, and basically a transition board. Also, it'd be a base and a resting spot for my trim to start. I believe I'm probably going to start, well, from the right to the left. I think that's what I want to do because the machine is pretty much set up to roll. So that's what we're going to capture. The goal is to try to get that done today. This is one man out here. It is what it is. We make the best out of it. Let's turn these lemons to some lemonade. Make some progress. So I'll kick up some dust. This is usually for wood. We're gonna let that warm up. Let it get hot. Alright, so we're up on the top level now. What I'm gonna do is gonna measure this 4 feet over. Write me a line up in here from the top down where I can get the angle and get the measurement for the board we have to cut. Alright, now again, when you're fastening siding, you got to try to hit studs or structural members, not just sheeting. So that's the goal. Alright, so I'm using the 18 gauge to attach these. I like the 18 gauge because it leaves a small pinhole in the material. I can go back on top of that with a little bit of cleanup caulk. But anyway, for the most part, these are going to have strips. So those are going to be the molding strips that's going to go every so often. This is my 15 gauge nailer there. It's just hanging out in case I need her, or in case that breaks for whatever reason. Something called Murphy's Law. These cuts can be a little bit unique because they're going upward. So really out here as you're working is basically, in my opinion, it's all geometry. You know, so some of you guys probably, hey, when will I ever use this geometry in my life? Well, if you're in the house building or anything associated with a lot of shapes and angles, you will use your geometry. Use that as a base, that ledger there. And then I just measure up. And we know our sheets are 8 feet high. So I measured up to the point that gives me 90. Anything within 1/4 of an inch is forgivable. But anyway, that's gonna have a trim piece up, so I'm not concerned about it. So you measured up 90 from here. I used a level to measure off 4 feet from that board all the way to this next space, 4 feet. Draw a line, go all the way up to about 8 feet, because that's the size of our piece. I mark it, I make that point, draw it all the way over to this point here. So that's letting me know I need an angle cut. So whatever that is, I failed to write it, but I did capture it. I did write it on the board some way, somehow. But I'm gonna double check, because you always measure twice and cut once. Material here, real material, and material has a value to it. So anyway, I think these sheets was $51 per sheet. So that gives you an idea that you want to use care with using materials. Any materials, it all has a cost associated. So anyway, that's going to be that angle cut. I'm going to go ahead again and measure twice, cut once. Now you got to make sure that you're on the right orientation of the board, because you see this here, you know, smooth side is just a straight piece, and then on the bottom side it's an indent, you know. So you got to be sure that you're keeping everything consistent. So say for instance, you put an indent here, now you just made 2 inches of indent, and it's not going to flow, it's not going to be consistent. So you know, it will be okay, you know, but sometime, you know, if you have a stickler or someone that's looking for something that's out of place or not right, they're gonna ding you for it. And you may either have to swallow that cost, because you'll have to replace that board and make it right, and you definitely don't want to do it or have to come back and make the repair after all this is done, because at that point you got to pull off trim, so it's going to be a higher cost. So just be careful as you're working through this stuff. Take your time, get it right. Slow and steady is what wins the race. It's not about fast, you know. I mean, I love efficiency for sure, but slow and steady in this business is what wins the race. You know, anytime you're airborne or elevated off the ground, anything more than 2 feet, you're in the danger zone, I consider. In this trade, most of our problems happen on the roofs. I mean, a high number happens on the roofs. There's so many deaths every single season because of roof work, siding work. Anything associated with ladders is that's just the nature of it, because you're not grounded, and people seem to be overly confident. When I first started riding the motorcycle, they said as long as you respect that bike, that bike will respect you and take care of you. So you got to respect the trades. You got to respect what you're doing. There's a lot of things that you can get hurt on. Nail your finger, cut your finger with the circular saw, fall off the ladder, hit your head, break a bone, many of things. So anyway, I just wanted to tap in with that right quick and just kind of go over these unique cuts right here. This is where the challenge can be for a lot of folks. And then as you get out here, it's not so bad. It's just pretty much of a flow. So once I get this board in place, I probably can get another 3-4 boards in before I have to start doing anything special. And then we just work up to the tips and we should be about done. So far we got 2 sheets up. We got a 3rd sheet that's on its way up. And then from there, I'll be able to get 4 more quick sheets up and then go up to the top. And I'm about done. Alright, this is where we are. Get that piece right there to make. Remember, I said this is all geometry. I almost did a boo-boo and cut that side out right here. I needed that left angle, but because how these boards are oriented on the platform, it kind of throws off your balance a little bit on how to approach. So you just got to pay attention. But I'm pretty good here. Those seams will get covered up with a molding. I got plenty of fasteners in that. But we're coming right along. This is actually one of my short sides. This is the short side of the house. You know, so I came short on this one piece, but it's time to sign off for right now. And I gotta have a pretty big hole saw. Not bad. 3 more sheets to go. Gotta do a cleanup.